Denne gangen i Vinpraten har vi besøk av en ung, fremadstormende vinmaker som har overtatt en legendarisk vineiendom i Chablis. En av de aller største produsentene har nettopp skiftet vinmaker. Det har skjedd for en stund siden. Gregory sluttet. En ny mann kommer inn. Han rundt 30 år, kanskje 30 år. Jeg skal høre med han. Men welcome to the podcast.
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. Hello,
So
everyone.
you're from France.
Yes, I am.
And the breaking news of Laroche even had not been so much spoken about in Norway, even if Laroche is a brand who is very famous in Norway. The transformation from Gregory to you have been slow. And please introduce us for yourself.
Thank
Who are
you.
you?
My name is Romain Chevrolat. I grew up in a champion of wine growers family, just now by Chablis, less than 1 hour drive, so it's quite close to Chablis, and so that's why I get interested by winemaking very early, and I started my studies both in Reims and both in Reims in Dijon, and after that I do some internships in Louis.
I know that you have been in DRC.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
DRC at finally, so that was amazing.
Lots of drinking?
A lot.
Yes.
You can imagine.
Yeah, there have to be a lot of tasting.
A lot of tastings and a lot of work in the vineyards because it's all started.
But still, you have now reached Laroche, and that it have to be a wall who's come against you with, oh, this is bigger than before.
Yeah.
And what was the background to coming into? Who did you know to get the position? Do you know?
I didn't know. First, I was working. Before that, I was working in the Rhône Valley in a very famous estate in Côte-Rôtie. I used to work that. I used to work there during almost 7 years as winemaker, and after that, I reached to Laroche. But that was for me the opportunity, the chance to get back in Burgundy, especially in Chablis with Chardonnay that I love, and that was ringing very special for me.
That's good. So it was a back home
kind
feeling.
of. Yeah, right,
So,
exactly.
But how long have you been in the position now?
In the position, how long? I started on the beginning of July 2023.
Yeah.
So it's quite early, it was also quite a challenge to start at the moment of the year, just before the harvest.
Yeah.
But that was okay. Yeah.
But 2023 is a good year, so you have not big problems.
No, but actually the growing season was very hard for the teams because of the rain and the disease they had in the vineyards. So they were a bit worried during the beginning of the summer, but after that, August was very, very dry and hot, and hopefully the harvest was very well, very healthy. It's a very interesting vintage because it's both generous in quantity and quality.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So for me, it's very nice.
For our listeners who don't know how big Laroche is, just to take the short story of Laroche. Laroche was originally a family company. Yeah. In 2008 and 2009, the family left, and then Advini was coming in, taking over. They have rebuilt and kept the status of Laroche, done some key factors that maybe Laroche have been a better wine afterwards. Not decreasing quality, but rather go to a path of better quality. But how big is the estate in hectares now?
In hectares, it's now by 90 hectares. 90 hectares, mainly Chablis, around 60 hectares, and 18 of Premier Cru and 6 of Grand Cru.
And the Grand Cru is how many?
There is in total of Grand Cru in Chablis, it's around 100 hectares, but for Laroche, it's around 6 hectares. Yeah. Mainly in Blanchot, and then Clos, and then Bougros.
Yes. Blanchot is an upcoming area because of climate, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
That's good to hear. I'm very fond of Chablis. I've been visiting Chablis many times. It's an area and also wine style who's changing, and I will come back to that why, and maybe we can discuss what you will do. But first of all, we need some wines in a glass. And the first one we have chosen out is just a standard Chablis from Laroche.
Yeah.
This is the screw cap division. So if we're pouring that, all the wines will be under the note for the video article. So you can reach out for the tasting notes and the points for the wine. But first of all, we have to do what every people in the wine industry do. Cheers and welcome to
Thank
Norway.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This
Cheers.
is your first visit to Norway.
Yeah, first. Yeah.
And what do you
totally.
think?
This is beautiful. So far that's so.
It's not too
very
cold?
No, not too cold.
No, it's okay.
I was prepared.
Yeah, okay.
We had some
Yeah.
very cold weeks a few weeks ago in
Yeah.
Chablis, around -10. So yeah, it was like a preparation.
But the vintage we are now drinking here is 2021 or 22?
It's 2022. Yeah, Chablis. So
So this is 1 year after you have, you have now the decisions from 2023, or are you together with Gagir then last year?
no.
So you are alone now in 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. But last year it was with Gregory before he left.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Gregory left at the end of the harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you make the wine for 23.
Sorry, say again, please.
The harvest for 23.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I started in July, so I was there for
So what is your thoughts about this vintage of Chablis? Is this what you think is Chablis from your point of view? Is this the heading you want to do?
2022 is a very warm vintage, and I think it's a little bit, too much fruity for Chablis. You were talking about the new version of Chablis, and I think this is an interesting example. Why? Because it's getting warmer in Chablis, as everybody knows. There is global warming, and the thing is to try to keep this minerality and acidity into the Chablis wines. So 2022 is very, very good, very fruity, but maybe less acidic than usual.
Okay. So you think the climate is a kind of a key factor for the years ahead for you? Because you're not old as me. You're a young man. And you probably have been asked how many years do you want to stay? Because a winemaker is very crucial for a brand's reputation, that the winemaker stays for over a long time. And many winemakers I've spoken with, I ask them often, how many years do it take to recognize the vineyards and recognize the taste and so on? What do you think?
I think it's a very long work. We never stop learning, and the behavior of the vineyards are always changing, always adapting. The plants are adapting to the global warming, and we are using some different skills, different works to manage this global warming also. So we can do a lot of experimentations each year, and we never stop. So we never stop learning. So
the most common answer is that it takes around 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, I agree.
To know, but of course the 90 hectares is also spreading. You have all the data for many years, but the climate is also changing, and all what Advini and Gagu have done when you arrived, because you come more or less to a set table with a different organization than the Laroche family did. So Laroche have been more structured. That means that the wines are they are on a premium plus point, except from the Premier Grand Prix, who is the big benefit today, because the prices is low, allocation is not so. It's quite good here in Norway, but even if there are no, it's not too much Laroche anyway. But the main factor is that Laroche keep it is a very popular brand, also because of the Chardonnay from South of France. So kind of the brands are living in a different quality. But we are talking now about Chablis. But when you now arriving at Chablis, have you seen something you have to change at once with Laroche in kind of investment that we do have to do this, because you have some demand you ask for. Are you buying something?
So I think the first works, the first challenge I have to manage for me is as you said, the understanding of the old vineyards. and I think we do already a very good job in the vineyards, and because the teams are very sensitive with that, and we have to give further in that way. I mean, with all the representations we have to do, and all the care we give to the vines, like homeopathy and biodynamics approach in the Grand Cru. I think we have to go further to give some helps, some tools to the wines to get healthier year after year.
Because Chablis, actually, there are no big standing of biodynamic. It's no big, from my point of view from outside, Chablis is a kind of a factory. Many producers are more factories than loving and caring about. They are going the path to a better way of making wine more healthy. All the talk and how they work, so on. But actually, there are also many producers who's just doing the same thing as the same. So it's a new generation. Right. I just mentioned, for instance, Margot Laroche and Julian Bocard's brand and others, who is kind of a new way, but also the old Chablis producers from the books.
You don't want to hear about it.
So there's a lot of discussion because I see Laroche as one of the companies who could change the total view of Chablis because you have enough bottles to do. Yeah. But of course, you have business to take care of. You can't do everything at once. But when you are now coming now in the first whole season, you are in Chablis. Have you discovered how many Pinot Noir wines there are in the vineyards?
Sorry, how many?
In the Laroche, it may be a secret for you, but in Laroche vineyards, there are, I think it's 9 or 10 Pinot Noir wines inside the vineyards, inside, in between.
You mean plants?
Plants,
I'm sure it's in Buteau.
Yeah. So have you seen and tasted them?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Just before the harvest. Yeah. Because I was curious.
Yes.
And
My often question is that which kind of grape do you have in Chablis? It's Chardonnay. No, it's not.
It's probably a mistake from the supplier, and it's always happening like this in the vineyards. Yeah. Because we're talking very few
lunch. I know about 3-4 places where I go and steal them because I like them. So. And I will do that also when we visit Laroche later in May. I will come and visit Laroche. That's nice. But back to the first one we have. If you are telling a little bit our viewers about the levels of quality you get and maybe how will this affect the quality work, because a Petit Chablis is easier, and then you have Chablis,
very drinkable,
and then you have Grand Cru. But where are the quality? I don't mean you talk about Laroche, but what are your point of views of quality in Chablis in general, from your personal view? What do you think? Is Chablis in 3 directions with taste? Many questions, but please.
I will try to answer. For me, the very interesting entry level like this Chablis is very interesting because, of course, you want some Petit Chablis very easy to drink and easy to open for any occasions, but it's also a wine who can do this. You can open this kind of bottle of Chablis, and it's a perfect match, with friends for dinner, for example, or very easy dinner or more complex because it gets some complexity. This is a very interesting wine. We are, selecting the best juices, and we also use some stainless tank for the fermentation. So you can have the true identity into this wine, and with some complexity also. It's not too much light, too much lighter.
Yeah, I mean. But you mentioned that the fruit is something you want to take less, and then you have the minerality and saltiness. Because
it's in perfect world, yes. Because you always have to work with the vintage. So all the vintage are different. And you can find after decades some characteristic for each vintage. And I think for 2022 is the fruit.
Yeah. So, but what do you think about the Petit Chablis quality order. What kind of quality sign you need to look after when you're buying a Petit Chablis? Because that's a lot of difference of quality.
Yeah, you're right. Petit Chablis is a very challenge for the appellation because people take care about the Grand Cru. They are very careful with the Premier Cru also, and then the Chablis, and less for the Petit Chablis.
Is that because of time? Because they don't have time to.
Yeah, it's probably because of time and because of the added value to the vines. So because Petit Chablis is spreading around the appellation, it's often the fairest vineyards from the estates. So and maybe because of it's typical for Chablis, but many of the estates have a lot of vines to work.
Yeah.
So it's probably for that. I think. For Petit Chablis, we have to be very careful because we have to keep this quality wine. We have to
because it's a big volume.
Yeah, it's a big volume. And it's always doing like this in quality, and I think for me this is very things to work to keep the quality of Petit Chablis.
So when you're starting the discussion with 90 hectares of wine, you have how many of Petit Chablis you have?
Less than 2.
Yeah, less than 2.
So it's very yeah.
But in general, you have to make a decision where to pick that day because you have a certain amount of pickers, you have a certain amount of time, and also it is true that the climate is also you have to be much faster because it's changing a lot.
Yeah.
So you can we have to move that people, and they are stopping picking and going somewhere else to pick.
You're totally right because that's exactly what happened this year for 2023. If I was watching on the data, and after flowering we usually used to wait 100 days before the harvest. So normally it will be happening on the 11th of September, but of September. But at the end of August, I was watching the vineyards and testing the grapes. And I was thinking, no, it's too late. So we started on the 7th of September and not the 11th. Yeah. And you're right.
That's 7 to 11, not many days, but it'd be huge of numbers.
Yeah, it's a huge difference for us because we get a lot of sun. It was a very warm days, so we started on 4 days before. But during 4 days, you are picking on the right moment. So it's a huge difference. Yeah. And for example, it was so hot during these days. We stopped the hand picking at first in the afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
To keep the freshness of the fruits.
We are back in the sofa, sitting on a good sofa in Tjuvholmen Sjømagasin. Together with us, we have the new winemaker of Laroche. He is young and coming forward. He has big thoughts. We have spoken really about climate. We have poured one wine, but as you mentioned, Laroche have only 2 hectares with Petit Chablis, and how much is with Chablis standard? Or
how many hectares
of Chablis?
Of Chablis, it's about 60 hectares.
Yeah, 60. Yeah. And the rest then is Premier and Grand Cru.
Yeah.
And 6
of Grand Cru and 18 of Premier Cru.
Yeah. And how many bottles do you make in a perfect year?
That's a good question. I think the perfect year doesn't exist, but for example, for Les Clos, in a perfect year, we can expect 700 bottles, 7,000 bottles. Sorry.
Yeah. So then it's not much, but if you reach for Les Clos and reach for Premier Cru, we have spoken a little bit earlier in the program about that the Premier Crus are coming up as very good candidates to the Grand Cru movement. Of course, you can make more of the Grand Cru, you can get better paid. But in the general, my opinion, I don't know if you agree, that Premier Crus generally are now like a Grand Cru often.
Yeah.
It's not
I can agree, and it's the yield are very important in these spaces because the aim is not to do the most possible, the most bottle as possible, but the most best bottles as possible. So you have to manage with to have less yield, to have better grapes and better wines after that.
Yeah. Chablis is a good area. So So now when you have started as a new winemaker and a lot of attention to you, you know, I don't know how many winemakers there are in Chablis. How many are?
I don't know neither.
No.
So far, I
But
didn't
there are
count,
many
but
meanings,
there are
yeah.
many. Yeah, there
Yeah,
are
there
many
are many
meanings.
meanings, you know, and they are kind of traditional small
Like
producers
owners, yeah.
and back owners you have, and then you also have the thing that the climate is changing, and also that Chablis is a brand. So like Sancerre and other areas, they could be big producers. You produce a certain kind of quality, and then it stops. So that's what I think, from my point of view. Laroche have been very good to Gregory and after Laroche family. They have maintained to keep on quality, but not go over the top to just be with prices and everything. So the prices have kept it and then kept the quality good. One of the things I have to ask you is could we take the next one?
Yes.
Yeah. And what wine have you chosen? It's
the next one is Domaine Laroche Chablis Premier Cru, the Vaudevais.
Yeah.
So Vaudevais is very important for us because first of all, we are a majority owner. We have 1/4 of this Premier Cru. And the second point is this is very particular because this valley is very cold and it's exposed to the northern winds. It's also a very steep slope. We are talking about 40% of gradient, and this is very particular because
you have to keep.
You have to
hanging.
keep, of sure. Very carefully, especially when you do this kind of treatment like biodynamics and something like that. It's hard to don't fall.
But when I taste it now, I feel it's young. You know, the vintage is 20.
The vintage is 2022 as well.
2022.
Yeah.
So a Premier Cru 22 is a child, more or less.
You're totally right. This is very young. You have to keep it in your cellar. My advice is about 3 or 4 years for Vaudevais, and after that it's gonna be a bit more rounder and a less bit like bitterness.
Yeah. So the acidity level goes a little bit down, and then you have more fruit or more depth in the wine.
Yes, the aromatic will be changed, of course. It's normal, but the acidic also a bit less. Yeah, you're right. But one thing we used to say in winemaking, the acidity is the backbone of the wine. So you need acidity to keep this kind of wine for long storage into your cellars. And Vaudevais is very. This is a typical style of Vaudevais because of the cooler area. We always have more acidity. So that's why it's a very interesting place for us because of the climate change. That kind of places very useful for us to keep the freshness of the fruits, even it's a warm year. This is very interesting. For example, we had a couple of days before 2005 Vaudevais, and it's still very fresh, very acidic. So this is very interesting because 2005 was very, very warm.
So for you, at Chablis, if you're looking for a quality sign in a young Chablis, you're buying now 22 in the monopole, and then okay, I will keep it for 4 years after your advice, and then you have it, and then you compare it to a 2027 or 8 vintage, and you will see that first of all, the sign you have to look for is the acidity level or length. Is that what you're looking for? Okay, that's on the top in the Premier Cru or Grand Prix, you can store it for a very long time.
Yeah, mainly. And one thing about Chablis is very specific. It's more than acidity, it's minerality, of course. This kind of salty sensation, very typical from Chablis. This is very, very important also for the storage because it's linked to the acidity.
So if you're going to describe these two wines here in quality, and what is the biggest difference between a Chablis and a Premier Cru in general? What could people look after your opinion? What should they look after?
For me, this is the precision of the Premier Cru first, and then it's usually more complex because of the different level of appellation. Chablis is more drinkable. It doesn't mean it doesn't have to be complex also, but Chablis Premier Cru is more complex with more longer, and you have some precision and minerality more expressive than a Chablis.
Yeah. So you said that a Chablis could often be more fruit-driven, could have good levels of acidity, easy drinking also in early ages.
Yeah.
But with Premier Cru, the snob is coming forward. We can't waste that on a normal day. Because the quality you put in your work. But if you go back to the numbers, how many hours do you do for a bottle of Chablis through a Premier Cru? Hours to work in the vineyards? What do you think?
Sorry, second for the hook.
When you have your people in the vineyards, how many hours do you use to work in the vineyards for Chablis throughout Premier Cru? Do you know the numbers?
Sorry, I can't say.
If you're working on, you probably have a budget on it somewhere. But and if you don't have the answer, we will check it out. But sometimes you can say, I'm working 1,800 hours per hectare in a Premier Cru, and I'm working 2,400 hours in a Chablis vineyards in general. Okay. So that's a number who's coming out, how many people you're working on.
In total for the Laroche is about 25 people working in the vineyard.
Yes. And how many hours is that? At that 25,800 hours. So it's a huge amount of hours who's working in the vineyards. But it's also divided in how many hours to use for 6 hectares throughout 60 hectares in Chablis. But it's just a factor that comes in the past when family owned. It was not a time measurement. But today, when a company owns it, they are paying each hour. Yeah, it's all that hours mean something because, as you said, the Petit Chablis is often forgotten, but you have to use a certain amount of hours to keep the plants okay and so on. And we saw that when the Laroche family was ending their period, that the vineyards of them was they didn't use so many hours in the last years.
For actually, this is opposite for the Laroche. I think the previous man before me was thinking the same thing. It's all starts in the vineyard, so we have to spend more time and more care to the vines to have this kind of quality. And we are many men and women working in the vineyards, and we have a policy about it's one man one plot policy. That means we have one people working in the same vineyard during the whole year.
So they don't skip around. They
don't skip around. Yeah, so they they keep the knowledges and the memories of each plant, and more than everyone. So this is very interesting because they are working in the same place every year, and year after year they get some expertise to the vines. So they get more carefully than other people's.
Yeah. So you have your own Leclerc guy,
woman, we have, and for Blanchot this is the same. For all the vineyard, we mix all the blocks with the peoples. So in that way we have more carefully people in the vineyards.
Yeah, that's good.
We call it tâcheron. It's quite famous in Burgundy.
Okay, that's good to hear that one is taking care of the plants, so we can drink here in Oslo. But if we are pouring in the next wine, and then we have 3 wines. The next one is
the next one is a Grand Cru. I was talking about Les Blanchots. This is our our main place in the Grand Cru because we are more Blanchots than Neclos and Bougros. And this is 2021. So 2021 was a difficult vintage because of the frost. I'm sure you heard about it.
Yes. And the frost was coming in, and we are seeing it on Twitter, on YouTube, and it was movies where they take out the old fire system. Where for listeners who don't know what it is, in the past, that's ended well in 80s, 90s, they have gas fires in between the plants, firing up with oil or something. And in 2021, it was hidden away all this equipment, and then suddenly they have to use it because it was quite heavy days. So
and usually people take some picture of that. It's a kind of beautiful picture, but for us it's a nightmare.
For me, a Grand Cru like this, who is one of the side things to Leclerc, is what I think is the positive factor of the climate. Some vineyards are getting much better 5, 6, 7 years in the past and now, because for our listeners, that if you have a Chablis and Premier and a Grand Cru, it's a kind of first floor, third floor, and sixth floor.
Yeah.
It's not 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
It's really good steps up. And you have, of course, quality terms in the floors. But if you have in the sixth floor, you can't understand first floor because it's so complex. And the Grand Cru here, that means I'm thinking lobster, I'm thinking expensive seafood, and I'm also thinking long length of storage.
Yeah, for sure. And you were talking about the difference between the Grand Cru. Blanchot is very specific. Why? Because this is the eastern place for the Grand Cru, and it's looking for southeast. We don't have any sunshine during the late afternoon. So we used to say in the vineyard, as a vigneron languages, that the sun in the late afternoon burns the grapes. So it literally burns the noble aromas. And with this kind of exposure in Les Blanchots, we can keep this noble aromas because the maturity, the ripening is gently, and it takes more times.
Yes.
So this is a very interesting place for us because we can keep, this minerality typical from Chablis. And Blanchot is always also, smelling like flowers aromas, and this is very typical.
Yeah, but it had kind of, for me, it had kind of a structure always laying there. It has been some oakiness who is present now in the younger vintage, but underlying it is a concentration who just lasts. I mean, 25 seconds in the mouth compared to the Chablis, who was away after 12, 15 seconds.
Yeah, there is a lot of
layers, layers of things. Have you been in the cellars and stealing some old Laroche?
Yeah.
And what is the oldest Laroche you have tasted?
Oh, already a lot of different vintages. I tasted some, 1998, 1996, and also some 1983.
Yes,
some kind of vintages, very different vintages.
I just mentioned it because I'm going to visit Laroche in May.
So you see our collection.
We have to see that connection.
Sure.
Just to be sure that this is the path. Yeah. But Chablis is not known to store for a long time. That have ended. Have you seen that when you have visited? Is this the first time you know it?
Yeah, this is my first time.
So then you know that market, the Norwegian market have been for 24 years, more or less. Very strong, but Chablis have been more expensive, so there's some struggle.
Yeah.
The Chablis area have been a little bit. The new generation of wine drinkers have not. They just take it as a common thing. But in the beginning of 2000, it was a new popular place, But what is your thoughts about Chablis? To maintain and go back to kind of popularity, to be a wine area that people understand that a huge benefit to store Chablis. Is it necessary to store?
This is not necessary, but for this kind, for Chablis level, you can drink it in the same year. There's no problem, of course. But for the Grand Cru, I think this is more important to keep it in your cellar, to store it. Why? Because this is wines who needs time to be very expressive, to be completely expressive. And we tasted the 2021 today, and we have some pleasure, of course. But for me, it's not completely expressive yet. So we have to wait more than 5 years to retaste it again, because it's gonna be more complex. This is very important about the Grand Cru.
So after 7,000 in a perfect year of production of Grand Cru, how many do you keep back?
For each vintage, for example, it's about 30 bottles for each Grand Cru each year.
So you don't have a huge amount of backlogs of.
No, not a huge amount because we have to sell it, of course. But we keep it each year for us, for the special customers who are getting some, visitors in Chablis, as you did, for example. So
because what I think is that if we say I think that Chablis you can drink at once in the same year, you're coming out. A Premier Cru is for 5 years. Just if you're in the perfect condition, and then the Grand Cru, of course you can drink it, but the benefits, when do you start when should you start to drink your Grand Cru?
I think at least after 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. And then it's gonna be better.
Yeah, it's gonna be better.
Yeah.
How many years is better?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It depends a lot of the vintage also, but you can wait for 2 decades. It's all right.
Yeah. So when you are 90, you can drink your wine now and think, this is good.
Yeah, that's why it's very hard because we have to wait.
Yeah, this is the agreement you have with Laroche. That you're going to work there for the next 6 years.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You're going to be stuck.
That's it.
So
yeah, I will.
But when we are back to Chablis and so on, for people who not experienced at Chablis, is a good place to visit?
Yeah, it's a very nice place, especially in the summer. This is a small village in the countryside of France. This is in between Beaune and Paris, so it's it's on the way to Burgundy. We used to say this is the Golden Gate from Burgundy. So start your travel to Burgundy with Chablis, and you will not be disappointed. You have sunshine during the summer, good foods to have with restaurants with very mainly Japanese chef. Why? Because the Japanese food is very well pairing with the
Chablis that you have Japanese chefs.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay.
This is very interesting. It's as you know, this is a very small village in France, but we have some Japanese chef. So this is very interesting.
So go to
pair.
France, eat Japanese.
Yes. Obviously, it's not the main chefs we have, but this is a very interesting match between Chablis and Japanese food because they use, as you do, a lot of fish for the cooking, and Chablis is perfect for that. Yes.
But to end this conversation about Chablis, because we can discuss, and I always have a lot of questions, but we will talk again. But what is your thoughts about 2023 now, when you have this in your cellars? What could you say about the vintage of 23? What do you think? Compared to some, is this a great vintage or it's?
Yeah. For me, this is a very interesting vintage. I think it's gonna be very interesting to compare some different estates because of the different yields we had this year. It was a generous year in quantity and quality, and for Laroche it's going to be very interesting because we have a very interesting vintage because of the fruity aromas and the concentration, but not so much because it's still acidic and with a lot of minerality. So for Laroche it's going to be a very good vintage, and we will do the first bottlings of the Chablis level, for example, at the end of March.
Yeah.
So
then you see more or less. So you're quite happy that 2023 will be. The volume is okay.
The volume is okay, but for me the most important is the quality, of course, and for the customers as well. So the quality is very, very interesting, very promising vintage.
Good to hear. But back to the question, maybe it could be difficult to answer. What is your favorite area or appellation or vineyard in Chablis? Your personal favorite?
My preference.
And it doesn't need to be Laroche, but what is your when you're good? I have 150 euros, or more or less. Which vineyard do you go to yourself?
For me, the best place so far. This is, all the people are getting up to the Grand Cru with the view on Chablis. But for me, this is in front of that, just on the top of the Lys. The Lys area is it's very interesting because you have a very nice
Is it in the left
view.
when you're coming into the city? Yeah, the Lys,
the Lys, yes, is the premier cru, just on the left bank. And just up to the hill, just next to the forest, you have a very good view on the Grand Cru's hill in Totally, and some of the premier cru. It's very, very nice place.
Have you heard that is the Norwegian who is responsible to Chablis?
Sorry, say again?
No, The reason why Chablis is a winemaker today is because of Norwegian.
There is no Asian?
Yes,
What's it?
Because in old papers of Chablis, and this is a fact, the first monks who was coming into Chablis area was taken away from the area they were from Vikings.
Norwegian Vikings. Yeah, of course I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we in Norway were saying, we are the reason why you're there.
Yeah. So
but,
you contribute to the Chablis vineyards.
But always nice to meet a new man. I'm very positive, and I'm looking forward to come down and visit you in May. And it will be a good tasting notes, and I'm looking forward to see what you're going to do. But first of all, we're going to meet in 5-6 years, and then discuss further what you have done with the vintage. And thank you again for the visit here in Vinpraten.
Thank you. This is my pleasure.
And you will come back often to Norway.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.